Welcome to lecture series on EC468 Secure Communication, and the topic for today's discussion is RSA algorithm. This is the topic in the 5th module. Now, this algorithm was proposed by Rivest, Shamir and Edelman, and that's why the name RSA. And this is the best public key encryption scheme known and widely used. And in this scheme, the basic concept is exponentiation in a finite Galois field over integers modulo a prime. That is the concept. And in this scheme, we use large integers, and the security of this mechanism lies in the factorization of large numbers. That is, the difficulty that we are facing in the factorization of large numbers provides security for this algorithm. Now, the RSA encryption and decryption process. To encrypt a message M, the sender will be performing, that is, he will be obtaining the public key of the recipient, that is E, and N is the modulus operator, and he will be computing the ciphertext C, that is M to the power E mod N, and the condition is M should be less than N and greater than or equal to 0. Then for the decryption, the process is, that is, he will be using his private key, that is D, and N is the modulus operator as in the encryption, and the computation involved is the message M is ciphertext raised to the power D mod N, and one point to be remembered is that the message M must be smaller than the modulus N. So basically, two steps, that is computing C value, that is ciphertext value, is done by C is equal to M to the power E mod N, and decryption is done by the message M is equal to the ciphertext, that is C to the power D mod N. So this is the basic encryption and decryption process. Now, the key setup for this RSA algorithm. So the process starts with selection of two large primes at random, say P and Q. That is, we will be selecting two large prime numbers P and Q. Then we will be computing N, that is the product of P and Q. Now we will be computing phi of N also, that is P minus 1 into Q minus 1. And that means we will be selecting two prime numbers P and Q, find their product, then compute phi of N, that is P minus 1 into Q minus 1. Now the next step is select at random the encryption key, that is the key that we are used for encryption is to be selected, and for that a condition is to be satisfied. That condition is that GCD of E and phi of N, that is the key that we are selecting, and phi of N, and its greatest common divisor should be 1. So GCD of E as well as phi of N should be 1, and that is the condition that is to be satisfied for selecting the value of E. Now we need to find D, that is, and for that we are having a relation, that is E into D is equal to 1 mod phi of N, that is E into D is equal to 1 in when you take the modulus in phi of N, that is, and D value should be also less than N, that is the condition to be satisfied. So when all these values or conditions are satisfied, we will be having the public encryption key as E comma N, that is PU stands for public encryption key and PR stands for private, and private key is D. So basically public key is E and private key is D, and you will be having N, the modulus operator. So the process is, I shall summarize it once again, finding two large numbers P and Q, find their product, then find phi of N, that is P minus 1 into Q minus 1, then select an encryption key in such a way that the GCD of phi of N and E is 1, then find the private key, that is D, by using the relation E into D is equal to 1 mod phi of N, then the process is over. Now we will go for an example. So as I explained earlier, so we will be selecting two values P and Q. Then for example, we will be using smaller values for easiness of computation. Normally the values of P and Q will be very large. Now in this example, the values selected for P and Q are P is equal to 17 and Q is equal to 11, two prime numbers. Their product N is equal to PQ, and that value will be 187 when P is 17 and Q is 11. Now we need to calculate phi of N, that is P minus 1 into Q minus 1, and that value is 60 into 10, you will be getting 160. Now the next step is to find out E, and the condition to be satisfied is that E and phi of N should be relatively prime, or GCD of E and phi of N should be 1. Then we will be selecting, that is we can select a value for E, then that condition, that is we are selecting 7 and 160 and its GCD is 1. Now we need to find out the value of D in such a way that D into E is 1 when you take the modulus operation mod phi of N, and another condition is that D should be less than phi of N. Now we will be finding out the value of D that satisfies this condition, D into E is equal to 1 mod phi of N. Now the calculated value of D will be 23. So the computation is shown here. Now we had selected the value of E, and using that particular value we were able to compute the value of D. So E and D are known. Then the public key that we will be going to publish will be E comma, that is E comma N. So E value selected was 7. Now the private key will be D comma N. So the computed D value is 23. So 23 comma 187. So that's an example. Now we will do one more example to get this concept more clear. Now say I am giving you an example where the message value, that is that same example, say suppose that the message value is 88, M value is equal to 88. The condition to be satisfied is that M should be less than small n, that is in this example that value is 187. So 88 is less than 187, that condition is satisfied. Now encryption is C is M to the power E mod N. M is the message and E is the private key that we are selecting. So now we will be, that is when you compute C, you will be getting 88 to the power 7 mod 187. You will be getting the value 11. Now for the decryption, we will be using the equation M is equal to the ciphertext raised to the power D mod N. So C value that we computed is 11. 11 is raised to the power 23, that was the value for D, and we will be getting the value as 88. So we started with 88, the encrypted value was 11, and when you perform the decryption you will be getting the value 88 as the result. Now one of the problems involved in this RSA is basically the computation of large powers, that is exponentiation in RSA is to be computed, and for that computation we are using square and multiply algorithm, and this is one of the simplest algorithm that we can use for exponentiation. Now we will do an example for this particular one, for example the decryption process itself. So for the decryption, the equation or the process was to compute 11 to the power 23 mod 187. Now the first step in this process is, that is the exponent is 23. So we need to find the binary of 23, that is binary of 23 is 1 0 1 1 1. Now we can write 11 to the power 23 mod 187 as, that is this 23 can be split into 16, 4, 2 and 1. That corresponds to, that is whenever you are having a 1 there, that particular power will be coming here. That is the positional weight of this one is 2 raised to 0, 2 raised to 1, 2 raised to 2, 2 raised to 3 and 2 raised to 4. So when this value is 1, 2 raised to 4, that is 16. So this value, the first term will be 11 to the power 16. Now the power corresponding to 8 is not there, that is why 11 to the power 8 is missing here. Now again this one corresponding to that particular one you are having 11 to the power 4, then corresponding to this one you are having 11 to the power 2, this one you are having 11 to the power 1. So that is how we will be computing. Now that is explained here, because in the binary representation of the exponent 23, positions corresponding to 2 raised to 4, 2 raised to 2 and 2 raised to 1 and 2 raised to 0 are ones, whereas position corresponding to 2 raised to 3 is 0. This one is 0. So that is why we are having, that is, we are having 4 terms, and we will be finding the product of these 4 terms and taking the modulus operation. So these 4 terms corresponds to these 4 ones. Now we will be going for the computation. So 11 to the power 1 mod 187 is 11 itself. Now the next one is, we need to find out 11 to the power 2. Basically the algorithm is square and multiply. Now we will be squaring 11 to the power 1 and we will be getting 11 to the power 2. So 11 to the power 1 whole square mod 187, and that is 121 mod 187, the result is 121. Now to find out 11 to the power 4, we square 11 to the power 2. So 11 to the power 2, when taken, when we apply the modulus operation, we are getting result as 121. So that 121 comes here. So 121 square mod 187, you will be getting the result as 55. Now at the next step, that is 11 raised to 8 is 11 raised to 4, the whole raised to 2. And 11 raised to 4 is basically 55. So 55 is again squared and modulus operation is applied. So we will be getting 33. Now at the next step again, that 33 is squared and modulus operation is applied. We are getting 154. So 11 to the power 16 mod 187 is 154. Then 11 to the power 8 mod 187 is 33, etc. So we have computed these 4 values. So we need to find out 11 to the power 23. So 11 to the power 23 is basically 11 to the power 16 into 11 to the power 4 into 11 to the power 2 into 11 raised to 1 mod 187. So this value we computed, that value is 154. Now next term is 55. Why we are missing this 33 is, that particular term is 0 here. That is, we don't have a term corresponding to 11 raised to 8. So 11 raised to 4 mod 187 is 55. Then we have that 121 and finally this 11. So the product, we are taking the products of this term, this term, this term and this term, and finally we are taking the modulus operation. So multiply these 4 terms, find the result and take the modulus operation, you will be getting 88. So that is how we will be performing exponentiation in RSA. So in exponentiation, the algorithm is square and multiply. So we are squaring on each step, then we will be finding out those values, exponents values, and then those terms that corresponds to whose binary representations bit is 1, we will be multiplying or finding their product, and we will be getting the result as the final result. So the answer is 88. Now again, to make this idea more clear, I am doing one more example. We will compute 7 to the power 12 mod 11. So the exponent part is 12, its binary representation is 1100. So 7 raised to 12 mod 11 is 7 raised to 8 into 7 raised to 4 only, because these two terms are zeros. So we don't have a term corresponding to 7 square and 7 raised to 1. So first step is 7 raised to 1 mod 11, that is 7. Next value that we need to compute is 7 square mod 11, that is 7 raised to 1 the whole square mod 11. So this value squared mod 11 means 49 mod 11, the result is 5. So 7 square mod 11 is 5. Now we need to find out 7 raised to 4 mod 11. For that we will be squaring this 5 and taking the modulus on that particular result. We will be getting the value as 3. Now 7 raised to 8, that value when you compute you will be getting it as 9, because we are squaring this particular 3 here. Now in the binary representation we have two ones corresponding to 7 raised to 8 and 7 raised to 4. Now what are the values corresponding to 7 raised to 8? This value is 9 and 7 raised to 4 is 3. So the result, to compute 7 raised to 12, we need to multiply these two terms and apply the modulus operation. So 9 into 3, and when you take mod 11 you will be getting the result as 5. So that is how we will be computing the exponentiation in RSA. So for the computation of exponentiation in RSA we will be using square and multiply algorithm, and we had discussed two examples for the same. Now, the applications of RSA. So, RSA ensures confidentiality, integrity, and authentication for electronic communication. That is, it is used to provide confidentiality, integrity, and authentication for a communication between two parties. So, we can use RSA for encryption, decryption, digital signature, and key exchange. The four applications of RSA are encryption, decryption, digital signature, and key exchange. Now we will see some of the advantages and disadvantages of RSA. The first advantage is it is that is for the computation, that is for encryption, it is very fast and simple. That is, encryption is fast and simple. Then the security is increased and convenience is also increased. Now, as I explained earlier, it provides message authentication through digital signature. That is, authentication is ensured with the help of RSA. And another application, that is another advantage, is repudiation, that is non-repudiation. So, whenever we are going for digital signature, nobody will be able to deny that he hasn't done that particular communication. So, that is what is meant by non-repudiation. So, it ensures authentication and non-repudiation. Then some of the disadvantages are, it is slower than secret key method. That is, here we are using public key mechanism, that is private public key pair, and that is slower than secret key mechanism. Then again, it uses more computer resources, and another limitation is key is vulnerable to various attacks if it is not properly implemented. So the advantages are, it can be, the operation is fast and simple, then security and convenience are increased, again it provides authentication as well as non-repudiation, and disadvantages are slower than symmetric key schemes and use more computer resources, and again key is vulnerable to various attacks if poorly implemented. Now, the security of RSA. Some of the attacks that may be there for RSA or the attack that we can apply to RSA are, one is brute force key search method. Then when the size of those prime numbers are very large, it is infeasible itself. Then another option is mathematical attacks. So the security relies on the difficulty of computing phi of n by factorizing modulus n. That is, first we need to find out P and Q by factorizing n. Then only we will be able to find out phi of n, that is P minus 1 into Q minus 1. Then another type of attack is timing attacks, that is how much time the decryption process takes. So based on that particular one, we will be able to derive some conclusions. So that is another kind of attack, that is timing attacks, and again the last option is chosen ciphertext attacks. So that depends on the properties of RSA. So the possible attacks are brute force key search method, mathematical attacks, timing attacks, and chosen ciphertext attacks. These are some of the references that I use for preparing this material. For Ozan and Stallings, these are the textbooks prescribed in the syllabus itself.